So, welcome to the last unit of the Bioenergetics unit of work, and this lesson is on metabolism. So make sure you've got a printout of the workbook, digital copy of the workbook, or your own notebook into which you can work, pen, pencil, ruler, all that sort of thing, and let's get started. So, if you'd like to have a look at knowledge check questions on this page and the next page initially, pause the video, have a go at the questions, and then unpause the video and we'll go through the answers straight away. So hopefully you've gone through the answers, and let's mark them. So correct anything that you've got wrong, green pen anything that you need to, give yourself a mark if you've got it right. Define the term resting heart rate. So it is heart rate when not exercising, when at rest. State the product of anaerobic respiration in muscle cells. So the product of anaerobic respiration in muscle cells is lactic acid. What is oxygen debt? It's the amount of oxygen needed to break down lactic acid. What is muscle fatigue? It is muscle tiredness, where they are inefficient at contracting and relaxing. Identify breathing rate affects respiration. Increased breathing gives you increased oxygen, which gives you increased respiration. I think for the next questions, we're just going to go on to those, give you a moment just to pause the video and have a go at those if you haven't had a chance to already. We'll go through the answers. So hopefully you've had a go at those, and if not, just obviously mark them as we go. State why anaerobic respiration is less efficient, because less energy is produced. What is gas exchange and where does it take place? It's the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide between the alveoli of the lungs and the blood vessels. Well, products of anaerobic respiration, so in muscles, it's lactic acid. And in plant cells or yeast, it is ethanol and CO2. Good, right, let's go on to the bulk of today's lesson. So the focus of this final lesson is to describe what metabolism is and give examples of metabolic reactions. Explain how enzymes work in relation to metabolic rate. So as you've got an initial learning activity, as it says on your notes page or just on revision book page, anywhere that you've got somewhere that you can write, pause the video in the description below, have a go at video 1, click on the link provided, and make notes on page from the following clip to highlight the difference between metabolism in plants and animals. So if you pause the video now and have a go at this task, then we'll go through some of the theory once you've done that. Good, right, so hopefully you've paused the video, hopefully you've had a go at this, and now let's go, you've got some differences of metabolism between plants and animals. Let's go through some theories and how enzymes work and how that relates to metabolism. So, let's break down some of this text. Enzymes have a 3D shape. The shape is very important. The shape includes a groove, which is called the active site. Now, important to remember, the active site is unique for different types of enzyme. It's a unique shape. The molecule to be broken down is called the substrate and fits into the active site. This example is for breaker enzymes, but also builder enzymes that do the opposite. Now, key thing about this, where you are breaking enzymes, you've got breaker or builder enzymes, what they are doing is they are speeding up So they're speeding up the rate of chemical reactions by making or breaking molecules. Now, this is often compared to a key fitting into a lock. A key will only fit into a lock if it is the correct shape. The enzyme is the lock and the substrate is the key. So, this here is the active site. This is called the enzyme substrate complex. And the substrate is broken down. Good. Let's keep going. So, enzymes are often referred to as biological catalysts. A catalyst is a substance that speeds up a chemical reaction without itself being used up. The reason why it's referred to a biological catalyst is, in this respect, is acting within an organism. Now, enzymes speed up all sorts of chemical reactions in your body, such as respiration and digestion. So if you think about enzymes you might know within digestion, e.g. amylase, which you find in saliva. Now, the enzymes do not get used up. Enzymes are referred to as specific. This means that each enzyme's active site has a specific shape for the substrate involved. Now, if it has a specific shape for the substrate involved, it means other enzymes can't affect the specific substrate molecule. So that other enzymes can't break it down or build it up. There's only one type of enzyme that can do so. So as it says, this means that different enzymes are needed for many different substrates that are involved in the reactions of the body. Enzymes work within very specific optimum conditions and are affected by conditions that vary from these. So when we're talking about optimum conditions, we mean the best conditions at which they work their most effectively. Now, for example, enzymes work best at 37 degrees Celsius. If the temperature is lower, we just jump onto the next page, they work more slowly. Now, the reason why that is, just writing out a note to it. Lower temperature means that the enzymes have less kinetic energy, which means they have less collisions and reactions with substrates. Now, higher temperatures will change the shape of an enzyme's active site. It will no longer work because the active site is the wrong shape and no longer will fit the substrate. The enzyme is said to be denatured. So when an enzyme is denatured, it no longer works. So things like temperature, but also pH can affect enzymes and denature them. That's an important thing to know. Now, if we look at enzymes within the context of the body, the body's needs, digestion is the name given to separating large molecules into smaller soluble molecules. Just break down that phrase to begin with. Smaller soluble molecules. When something is soluble, it means it's dissolvable. That could diffuse across the small intestine wall and enter the body via the bloodstream. Remember, diffusion Just a movement from a high to a low concentration. The small intestine wall you might describe as being partially permeable. It lets some molecules through, but not others. Now, this allows nutrients and minerals to enter the body. Three main nutrients were carbohydrate that break down into glucose to be used in respiration, proteins that break down into amino acids to be used to build new proteins, and lipids that break down into fatty acids and glycerol. Now, you might remember the names of enzymes that break these down. Remember, you've got amylase, that breaks down carbohydrates. You've got protease, breaks down proteins, and you've got lipase that breaks down lipids. So you then go on to looking at metabolism. Metabolism is the sum of all reactions that occur in the body. That's the definition you need to know for metabolism. That one's important. Make sure you've got a note of that. It can be split into two parts. The first is catabolic reactions that break molecules apart and release energy, so therefore are exothermic. So, exothermic reactions release energy into surroundings, such as breakdown of molecules in digestion, and also breakdown of proteins to form urea, which is excreted as urine, which is dissolved in water. The second is anabolic reactions that build molecules and therefore take in energy. Remember, endothermic reactions take in energy from surroundings. So anabolic reactions include the conversion of glucose into starch and glycogen and cellulose. Those are all storage molecules. Or turning glucose and nitrate ions into amino acids and then into proteins. If you're making amino acids, growth, the reactions that carry out and allow growth to occur. Respiration is obviously a big part of metabolism in animals, as it is how the organisms gain energy that has been transferred from plant matter via food chain. Respiration is exothermic, so it's a catabolic reaction. What's the opposite of respiration? Photosynthesis, which is the opposite, so therefore photosynthesis is an anabolic reaction because it absorbs sunlight energy, absorbs light energy. Good. Right. Explain how respiration maintains the rate of metabolism in an organism. So, pause the video, use notes, use any additional research you want to do, and have a go at that question. Then we'll go through the answer in a moment and just mark your answer and see what you've got right, correct, green pen, what you've got wrong. Right, good. So you pause the video. Hopefully you've had a go at that question. Let's just go through the mark points here. So, first point is respiration releases energy needed for reactions to occur. Now, you need it to maintain body temperature. So at 37 degrees Celsius. In that case, that allows enzyme-controlled reactions to occur efficiently. So mark what you've done, green pen what you've done. Make sure you've got notes down from that page, and then we'll move on. Good, right. Now what I'd like to do is take a little bit of time now to do two things. Firstly, pause the video and in the links below, watch video 2 for me and use video 2 to answer the 4 questions here. All the answers are in that video. Once you have done that, you can do that independently because the video is available to you. Once you've done that, you'll see at the bottom, there are a couple of exam questions. Can you then do those independently? Have a go, see what you can do. Use revision guides, use any research, use any online sites, use any notes that you've got. See what you can do, and then simply, once you've done that, make sure any answers that you've done are emailed through to your teacher so that they can then have a look at those independently and give you feedback on those from an individual point of view. So complete them and email your answers, whether they be photos, whether that be a Word document, doesn't matter, send it through, okay? So you've got a bit of time now to be working on that independently, and when we've done that, we'll then finish with a couple of questions at the end, okay? So pause the video now and do both those things for me. Right, good. Hopefully you've paused the video and you've gone through those exam questions and you've gone through the video and you can have done that independently. So the last couple of things is I want to have a look at a couple of checkpoint questions and the knowledge and application questions. So have a little look at this checkpoint question here. Organisms can respire both aerobically and anaerobically. Summarize the similarities and differences between these processes. So aerobic and anaerobic. Let's go through these things together. So what I want you thinking about firstly is efficiency. Which one is more efficient? You should remember that aerobic is more efficient. Anaerobic is less efficient. So as you see, we're doing this in a table and we're doing it bullet points. This is still comparison, the similarities and differences. Just because it's in the table, just because it's written in bullet points doesn't matter. It can be as basic as this in an exam question, as long as you are getting those key ideas down. So if it's more efficient, more energy is released per glucose molecule. So therefore, if more energy is released per glucose molecule, what do you reckon about an anaerobic respiration? Less energy is released per glucose molecule. Now, what about glucose being broken down? So in case over here, glucose broken down. Whereas here, we know that glucose is not totally broken down. What else is produced? It isn't produced over here, lactic acid. Don't know what that is. Good, so you've got a comparison there. Make sure you've got those key points written down. Once you've done that, go on to the next page and you can finish by pausing the video and having a go at the knowledge and application questions to finish. Once you've paused the video and had a go, we'll then go through these answers to finish your last lesson in the Bioenergetics unit. Right, so hopefully you've paused the video and had a go at the questions and you've unpaused it. You just wanted to go through the answers. Green pen what you've done, correct anything that you've not got correct. Give yourself a mark if you've got it right, and then we will finish here. So, metabolism is the sum of all chemical reactions in the body. Men often have a higher metabolic rate than women. Suggest why metabolic rate will be different from gender to gender. What does it tell you about the energy needs of different genders? different genders require different energy needs. What's the function of an enzyme? An enzyme is a biological catalyst. So it speeds up chemical reactions without being used up. What part of the enzyme binds to the substrate? We call that the active site. State what an enzyme substrate complex is made of. Enzyme bound to a complementary shaped substrate molecule. Now, identify if catabolism is endo or exothermic. Remember? Exothermic. Why is anaerobic respiration less efficient than aerobic respiration? Produces less energy. Could be even more precise by saying per glucose molecule. Why is the small intestine good at absorption of nutrients? Because it has a good blood supply. And the villi shapes on the side of them give it a large surface area through which substances can move. And then finally, define osmosis from historical knowledge that you've got. It's the movement of water from a high to low concentration via a partially permeable membrane. Good job. So, via partially permeable membrane. And so that is your summation of metabolism and everything from your unit on bioenergetics. So well done.